If you really want to step up your Counter-Strike game, there are 5 things that you need to learn to rank up. So let's jump right into it. High FPS ensures smooth gameplay, reducing input lag and providing a more responsive game experience. Especially in a fast-paced game like Counter-Strike, smooth gameplay is essential for accurate aiming and quick reactions. Another thing with high FPS is that it can reduce the time between your actions and your opponent's representation on their screen. This can improve your reaction time, which is crucial when it comes to peeking or holding angles. It will also help you with better hit registration, and don't forget that CS2 is a competitive game where every advantage matters, so having smoother movement or better vision will give you an advantage over your enemy and slightly increase your chance of winning. So try to optimize your game and get rid of all the distractions like stuttering and frame drops. Number 2 is a thing that a lot of people in Counter-Strike need to hear, and it's not to rage and keep calm. I know you get mad because your team might be ass, or you are ass, or the enemy has a good game, or you are just unlucky. It doesn't matter why you rage, because if you should lose your temper, you will lose your focus on the game, and therefore the ability to make good and thought through decisions. If you can't handle that, it will break your consistency, and as I told you in my other video, consistency is a key factor of being a good Counter-Strike player. If you haven't watched my last Counter-Strike video where I try to help you to get better, then look to the top right of your screen and enjoy the free tips and tricks that will hopefully help you to get more consistent. Back to the topic. So raging will not only impact you. In the worst case scenario, you will flame your mate and he will start trolling, or your mate will flame you back and you will start trolling. So don't flame and don't let flame impact your mindset, please. Number 3 is an ego problem. So don't try hard to be the MVP in all of your games. Sometimes you just have a bad day and can't hit shit, so after the first half you realize that you ended up on the bottom of the scoreboard. Some people, and probably also you, try the hardest to greet some kills and just climb up the scoreboard, but in most cases it will end up in you dying in the first seconds of the round or baiting your team and hope to get a kill. This will either make your team lose the game, or it will tilt you or your teammates, and we will end up at point 2 where I was talking about getting mad. Try to be like Lysop, or so, I guess. Whatever, you know what I mean. Support your teammates that have a good game and help them carry you. For example, you could flash for them, or you could go in first so they can refrag you, or you can bait for them. Number 4 is a thing that a lot of people don't really think about doing, but it's such a crucial thing. It's about analyzing your enemies so you can understand their tendencies and tactics. People who are especially good at that often get caught out for wall hacking, but if you take a closer look, they are just good at observing and predicting how the enemy will play during the match. But what do I mean with observing the enemy though? Let me break it down for you. Now for real though, there are 4 main points to take in consideration. The first one would be movement patterns. It's about how the enemy moves around the map. Do they rotate? And if so, do they rotate fast or slow? What routes do they take if they rotate? Do they go for a more aggressive route or take a passive route where they are safe? Does the enemy team have a default setup they do every round? Those are just a small few examples, but it's really important information because it will really help you to figure out if faking a bomb set, for example, is efficient or not. The next thing would be tactical patterns. Tactical patterns are about how the enemy approaches the round. Do they often go for early aggression, or do they play passively and wait for you, or in what way they use their utility? Do they nade long early on Dust 2? Is the enemy smoking pallets on Mirage in the beginning of the round, or does your opponent hold on to his nades and use them reactively? If you keep an eye on that, you will have a way better time and not get caught off guard so easily. Number 3 would be play habits. Play habits is trying to identify if certain players have a specific habit, like peeking from the same angle repeatedly or holding the same corner round after round, for example Underwood or Mirage, and if so, try to remember their name or the color of the player so you have an upper hand in the 1v1 situation. For example, you're on Mirage, you have a 1v1 and you decide to go ramp on action, and you know, like, enemy green always plays Underwood and he's alive, so you can take this information into consideration when making decisions. Maybe you could Molotov Underwood, or you could like white swing him, and that's a really important thing to always get the upper hand in 1v1 situations. And the last pattern that you should try to remember is economic patterns. To be honest guys, I also don't do that really good. I sometimes forget it and just look around and see what my team buys, but it's actually a really important thing to know if the enemy has money or not, because if you figure out if they have a force buy or eco round or full buy, you can predict what kind of weapons they might have in a given round and how you can play around that. This can really help you to avoid getting surprised by a pistol rush or a stack on a bomb site or getting like naded by 5 people. But it will also help you to avoid fighting in close quarters. For example, you have a full buy and your enemy just has like pistoled because you didn't really care about the enemy's economy. So you decide to rush B on Inferno and you walk into a P250 and like he 2-taps you on close range and you just lost like 5k of equipment to a $300 pistol. So track the enemy's economic pattern and try to avoid close quarters if they have an eco, and play around close quarters if you have an eco, and try to use the economy for your advantage. By learning those 4 simple patterns I just told you, you can anticipate the enemies better, and it will also improve your map control, and it will help you to make better strategic decisions in the game. Especially if you see yourself as an in-game leader, you should look into that. Finally, we come to number 5, which goes kinda hand in hand with number 4. It's changing your and your team's pace. If you rush the bomb site back to back this game, maybe try a contact play next round. Don't play fast all the time and also don't play too slow either. By switching up the speed, sometimes playing aggressively and other times slowing down, you can make yourself almost unpredictable. This constant shift keeps the enemy guessing, and that will force the enemy to adapt to you rather than focusing on their own strategy. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're playing on Dust 2 and you've been rushing B side every round, and the enemy has started stacking more players there, anticipating your push, and wait till you hear the enemy teams rotating from A to B, then push out on catwalk towards A, for example. Because of the constant rush on B from the rounds before, your opponent will most likely rotate faster without even thinking it could be a fake, and abusing that will give you a really big advantage. That was obviously just one simple example out of many, but I hope you get what I mean. Always keep your enemy thinking and guessing, and as a wise man once said, never let them know your next move. That's it. I hope I could help some of you guys in getting a better understanding of the game, but be aware guys, just because you got the information does not mean that you will be able to execute the tips I gave you today perfectly in your next game. It will take time to get it down, but I think most of you know that becoming better at Counter-Strike is not a short-term thing. So try not to rush it and take your time and have fun while doing so. I know having fun in Counter-Strike, it can be hard sometimes. Believe me, if you don't have fun and just grind the game, you will burn out and lose all fun in the game. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and if so, consider liking or even subscribing, and stay safe guys. See you. Ciao.